podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Achtung Millwall. Broadcasting from beautiful South Bermondsey, it's the #1 Millwall podcast. Accept no substitute.
Well, once more onto the breach, dear friends. Welcome to Achtung Millwall, dear listeners. We're in the preliminaries before the Easter Monday game between Millwall and Norwich. As they say, the games come fast and furious over April. The Friday, we're up there with those heroics up there at the Riverside Stadium, but now we're back here at the business end of the season to face Norwich. Lions sitting, of course, in second position in the table. Norwich sit 11th. They're 9 points off of 6th spot. I'm hoping they're going to be on the East Anglian beaches at I don't know, Caister or someplace like that in their minds. Let's hope so. Lions, of course, 1 point in front of Middlesbrough following that huge, magnificent, superlative win on Friday. Man in the hour, Josh Coburn, starts this afternoon. I'll just run through for the Lions starting 11. It's Patterson in goal. Kramer, Taylor, Cooper and Sturge across the back line. Dinor and Bannon starts this afternoon. Billy Mitchell not in the squad, must be injured or something, I don't know. In front of them, Aziz, Luke Cundle and Camille Negley and Josh Coburn up front. So it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 this afternoon, in my tactical opinion. As Delia might have said, from the Millwall perspective, it's a case of let's be having you. What an opportunity lies before us. The only fly in the ointment may be that Ipswich still retain those 2 games in hand over us. 38 games played. We're on 40 before the start of this afternoon's proceedings. But as football law has it, you're better off with the points in the bag. So all we can do is beating what's in front of us and put the pressure onto Ipswich, who play later this afternoon. I believe they play Birmingham. They're playing Birmingham at 3 p.m. Swansea versus Middlesbrough at 5:30. So we kick off, for reasons I can't quite fathom, at 1 o'clock rather than the usual 12:30. I had him on mind for a 12:30 start today, but no, it's 1 o'clock. We're just waiting for the 2 teams to come out onto the pitch. It is a brilliantly sunny day. I want to say a big hats off before I go anywhere else while it's in my mind to Chat with Chaps. I met with Bex outside from the Chat with Chaps podcast doing a collection for cancer research this afternoon. I really hope they get a great total. Really well done, chaps. And everyone involved in that podcast is wonderful listening content. I recommend it. I urge you to listen to all of the Millwall podcasts, dear listeners. We've got the teams in the tunnel, so I'm going to stop prattling on at the moment as we wait for the entry of the 2 teams on this potentially momentous afternoon, because a win this afternoon will put the heat on both of our automatic promotion rivals. First time we've really been able to say that all season, but very much the case now, following that win up there at Borough. Well, my energy levels have recovered somewhat. I felt absolutely emotionally exhausted on the drive home from Middlesbrough on Friday, listeners. You'll be glad to know that I am back up to 100% on my battery charge following a weekend's R&R, rest and recuperation. Here come the 2 teams. Norwich this afternoon will be in their familiar yellow and green, canary colours. The Lions, of course, will be in dark blue and white, as per traditions ever since the days of the Isle of Dogs. Dark blue and white, albeit with white, royal blue stripes, various designs along the way. It's a beautiful afternoon. I've got to say, the Den pitch looks like a billiard table out there, listeners. It's beautiful. Shades of green stripes, crossfield striping. In the sunshine, it's a cool day. It's not warm, but it's not cold either. It's a wonderful afternoon for football. Sell out this afternoon. The Den is filling up rapidly now ahead of kick-off. Our ground has an ability to look half empty and then suddenly it fills. But it's business. This is a business afternoon, listeners. I don't care how we get 3 points. We've got to win it by any means necessary. Magnificent support up there at Borough. Magnificent support here at the Den, listeners. I think there's a real sense around the club of belief, an increasing sense that something special is happening. These words may come back to haunt me because football is a cruel mistress, but it does feel special, doesn't it? I was just talking to Matt Webb before kick-off here in Block 1, and he was comparing this season with the promotion season, 87-88. Leave aside the Scottish manager, the series of wins leading up to, obviously, the final day against Blackburn, where the championship was won and the team had been in the pub all week. But it was just consistent win after win after win. That's what we've got to match. But I do believe this side has the steel and the metal to do so. But nothing else on Friday. After the first half of very much being on the back foot, we produced a huge performance, and we've done that so many times this season. So there is something really special about this squad. A memorable season, whatever becomes of us, dear listeners. Well, it looks like the Archbishop of Jarrow Monastery, the Venerable Bede, will be very pleased indeed to see Millwall attacking the away end in the first half, as per his writings in Jarrow Monastery back then in 9th century Anglo-Saxon England. Strange thing for him to be concerned with, but there it is, it's the truth of the matter. Millwall shall attack if ye away end in your first half, he wrote, and that's what's going to happen here this afternoon, listeners. Norwich will be attacking the cold blow in the first half. The referee just waiting for the stroke of 1 o'clock, British summertime. Away we go. How much will Friday's heroics have drained from our squad, listeners? It's going to be a question this afternoon, isn't it? It was sapping to watch, let alone be involved in on the pitch. I can't imagine what energy levels the team were left with after that huge second half. And also, just want to mention, again, while it goes from my head, Jimmy Berylson paying for the squad to fly back down for recovery purposes rather than 7-hour coach, as Alex Neil put it in his post-match conversations. That's backing the side big time, isn't it? Hats off to the Berylson family, as ever. Jimmy Berylson there. Sturge, I thought, might have been penalised there, but they win it back, ball into the middle. This is a 20 shot, bobbles wide left. A little moment of, as much as taking the deflection leftwards, it's going to be a left side corner. A little moment of concern in my voice there. I don't know if you detected that. It was a little back of the throat kind of moment. Ipswich have to face both Middlesbrough and their East Anglian rivals Norwich in their run-in. I think their game in hand, they have 2 at the moment, games in hand. One will be Pompey, and I don't know who the other one will be in that case, but they've got to do it, haven't they, listeners? Anyway, this is being Millwall forcing Norwich backwards. 6 turns. Draws a free kick. So there's my hope. I think the odds possibly not against us, but I think, you know, if you were a betting man, you'd probably say favourites for the automatic position will be Ipswich, given the tail off in Middlesbrough form. But these issues are decided by far more, emotional issues than just cold logic. That's my philosophical treatise done for the afternoon, listeners. Millwall playing the ball out from the back. Did you ever, listeners, did you ever? A lot of surly sourpusses from Middlesbrough were criticising Josh for celebrating his goals against his own club. I mean, it's a strange old modern football custom that you don't do that, isn't it? Personally, I believe you should do what you like. Clearly, Coburn left, not under a cloud, but I didn't get much sense he was loved up there. And there was a lot of hooting at Millwall for paying £4 million for a striker that's really come good now after probably a little bit of time in the wilderness. Coburn being quite obviously held there, like rugby league style. But the referee lets it go. There must be an unspoken rule that fouls on Josh Coburn are allowed, you know. Ball through this. Coburn goes through, the referee doesn't give a penalty there. Linesman's put him up as offside. He went flying. I think it might have not have been a penalty. With my neutral hat on, listeners, I think the ball was in front of him. He may have felt he was offside anyway, but he went down very, very convincingly, that's for sure. I wonder if he studied drama at the North Eastern Drama School or something like that, you know. Cooper beaten for a bit of pace there. The 30 puts it wide from a very, very tight angle. People still filing into the ground, filling the seats up. I like a conspiracy theory as much as the next man, dear listeners, but that was allegations of a conspiracy on from the Docker stand by the FA there. I'm not convinced by that penalty shout. What do I know? Ball falls into yellow shirts a lot at the moment. This is the 3 now on the right side of the Mill penalty. Ball into the middle. That's headed clear by Taylor, who played very well up there at Riverside. Passing there was a little bit lax in the first half. We've just been a bit lax so far, listeners. 9 minutes in. I'd say the first 10 have probably favoured Norwich in terms of possession and ball at our end, but it is early doors. Huge opportunities in front of us. I do wonder whether, it just starts to play on players' minds. I've said this a few times, so I'm at pains not to repeat myself on these shows. I do make an effort not to repeat myself. I just repeated myself, didn't I? But I do think that's a fact. There's a ball loose there. This is Norwich now with a chance here, 21. Block, great, fantastic blocking between Cooper and Taylor there, listeners. Coburn being physically held back. The referee looks at it and says no. It's a joke. It is a laugh, listeners. Honestly, it is. Oh, that lax moment. There's a moment there for the 30 to break into the box there. And all just not quite switched on, listeners. Put into touch by Jake Cooper in the end. Did it well with his long legs. But we just looked a little bit off attention, so to speak. 16 minutes. Well, Alex Neil speaking after the Middlesbrough game said Millwall's ability to stay in the game is one of the biggest reasons we're fighting for promotion to the Premier League. Our ability not to give in, as he put it, post-match. We've not really been in this game so far, as we were at Middlesbrough, second best for the first half, as the BBC put it here. We roar back after the interval there. Let's hope we can roar back here, because at the moment we're just looking a little bit off the pace. Fermi wins a decent header there. Coburn gets a free kick given against him. It is a laugh, honestly it is. The bloke's gone down clutching his face. Now he's all right, the free kick's been given. It's taken quickly. It seems a bit of a one-way street against Josh Coburn, doesn't it? Stop me if you've heard this one before. Oh, this is applause for Matt Anderson. Rest in peace, Matt Anderson, Millwall fan, passed away. Forgive me, sometimes I've got to join it in, otherwise people don't really know what's going on. This was posted by EOG Popper. Of course, for Millwall fan Matt Anderson, who passed away recently, so condolences to his friends and family, Matt Anderson. Meanwhile, Norwich are on the break here. The ball out wide left. 35's got the ball on the edge of the Mill penalty area on the left side. He's trying to bring it in through. It's cleared after a fashion to the edge of the penalty area. Back to a yellow shirt, unfortunately. Millwall just getting at 6s and 7s. There's a free throw-in now over there on the right side. They're taking their throw-ins and dead balls quickly at the moment, Norwich. This is the 21 on the right side. Are we looking tired? We probably have every right to, listeners. Unfortunately, that's not going to bring baby a new bonnet if it is so, but that's got to be a free kick at last. 33 gives away a free kick, deep in the Millwall half against Josh Coburn. And he gets a yellow card. Oh, wow. Christmas has come early. I want to give a big shout out to a German listener of the show, Michael Hurler. I think that's the pronunciation. The umlaut O always confused me in German lessons. Michael Hurler, who's doing a book, odd as it might sound, on the old Den. And he was asking us the location of the famous WHU turn-back bridge, which was at the rear entrances on the Ilderton Road end. But the ball through the middle. This is the 30. Oh, that's a great save there. Jake Cooper was in attendance. Probably a poor shot as well as a great save, listeners. Ball down the line. This is Femi Aziz. That's going to go into touch, unfortunately. Great save, Anthony Patterson there, by the way, listeners, on that breakthrough from the Norwich 30. So Michael, asking after the location of the famous railway bridge. There are obviously railways there which were rebuilt, railway bridges rebuilt, but what it finally dawned on me was that the old railway that used to run by the side of between the New Cross Stadium and the corner of the old den is no longer there. So the bridge was that railway going across the back entrances of the Ilderton Road end. I worked that out after some time. So big shout out to Michael Hurler, who's producing a book in German about the old den, which is, there we are. Who knew there's a market for such things? WHU turn back, unwritten on the bridge, if anyone don't know what I'm talking about. 29 minutes going towards 30. Been precious little balls forward for Josh Coburn and Femi Aziz to feed on. Our service forwards has been poor, and we've been on the back foot a little bit. Norwich coming at us too much for comfort for the bulk of the first half. Oh, that's a lacked pass. Who was that? Sturge gives the ball to the yellow shot on the right side of the Mill penalty area. This is a 20, 23 on the right. They will need a rocket up their backside so if we can get through to half time at 0-0, because this has just been slack, listeners. Sturge don't look on it, listeners. He's just turned into a challenge there that would have normally, wouldn't have thought twice about. I just wonder whether that knock earlier on has put him out of his stride a little bit. There's a very, very lazy ball he played a few moments ago. I just wonder if he's quite switched on at the moment. Beautiful ball from Aziz for Coburn to chase. The defender will beat him to it, unfortunately. It's going back to the goalkeeper. Nice first time ball there from Femi Aziz, trying to give Coburn something to run onto. This is Norwich going through our defence like a knife through butter. This is the three on the right side of the 6-yard box. Oh, wow. Fired across the goal, basically. Gone wide left in the end, but there was a narrow margin for error there. Lions dodge a slight bullet there, 35 minutes. Talking about full houses, the remaining games of the season have been sold out. And there's been some kerfuffle online, rightly so. Neil Andrews, my friend and co-podcaster on this show, tried to buy a ticket for the Oxford game. It's entirely sold out, but available for resale on various websites at 300 quid I saw per ticket. I mean, this is madness. The club need to look at this. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know enough about ticketing, and Master, that guy's a poor ball from Sturge. He's having a bit of a mare this half, but we can't be having resale outfits profiteering like that. Somehow whoever we've sold tickets to, that's been on general sale, and we've got to have some form of loyalty-based membership scheme that gets some form of first dibs. I do appreciate this is the price of success, but if that success is what we aspire to, we need to get on it, because that looks horrible at the moment. But yeah, sellouts. God knows I'll have to sit next to me at QPR and Oxford, listeners. £300 a ticket. This is Norwich on our left side whilst I rant about ticketing. Ball into the middle. We're lucky there. 23 caught it on the volley. Didn't get any power behind it, and it kind of bobbled to Patterson, who saved it on the line. Lions are living on their nerves here. We're on 37 minutes. Ball spreads from Denor, finds Aziz over on the right flank. What can he do? He's got men in the middle. There's ball into the... This is Negley. Oh! Kramer heads wide from the near post. Best chance of the game for Millwall. First time we've actually played any real football in the opposition's last third. Chance for the Lions there, 37 minutes. Straight into touch from Norwich. That's the first chance we've had to capitalise on their errors in the half that's been largely speaking dominated by Norwich, with everything Millwall trying, falling flat on our face, a bit like the old banana skin cartoons. Whatever we do, we step on the rake and it slaps us on the nose. But this is a chance for a long throw here for Zach Sturge, 40 minutes. Picked up by the goalkeeper. Zach don't look right, listeners. He collected a ball there and skidded on the turf. I don't know if it's slippy out there, how heavily watered it's been, but he's not looked his usual self. How is that? Coburn has been pulled back with an arm across him, and the referee gives it as a free kick for Norwich. That's what the crowd think of that. 41 minutes, dear listeners. 44 minutes. It's not been a great half from Millwall's point of view. Been mostly Norwich possession. And they've had a couple of moments as well, which wasn't really in the script. That Kramer header has probably been the only moment of real danger from the Lions' perspective in the first half. So, as per the pattern of recent matches, we've got to stop it doing it this way, but it's been a poor first half. Let's hope we can come out with a heroic second, because we certainly need it at the moment, dear listeners. Minute, there is the half-time whistle. So, yeah, generally speaking, not the greatest of half from the Lions, mostly Norwich. Let's hope for better in the second half. It's 0-0 at the break, dear listeners.
Achtung, Millwall.
Well, Norwich are coming out for the second half. I was just looking at Instagram during the half-time break and came across, there's a quote I think Alex Neil made before the Middlesbrough game, but anyway, I'll read it. It's interesting. It's Sky Sports quoting in here saying, for me, i.e. for Alex Neil, I've never used the little old Millwall phrase. I'd never say that to my players because it demeans what we are and what we're trying to do. As far as I'm concerned, we're as competitive as anybody and we work within the resources that we've got. I just don't like the narrative of playing yourself down as an underdog. If we do it, it's going to be a miracle and we're going to be really lucky. All that crap, that doesn't wash with me, says Alex Neil. If you want to be there, you want to be competitive and you want to win, you've got to believe that you should be out there, and I believe we should be. So belief is the point of his piece there. Millwall are out for the second half, lining up. Looks like we're going to have a substitution. Mihailo Ivanovic is going to come in. We need to change it from the first half, that's for sure. It was a poor first half. It's coming for Kundal, who did look a bit astray in the first half. So front two, Ivanovic and Coburn up front, and we've gone a form of 4-4-2, I guess. It's going to be Barry Bannon kicking us off, attacking a cold blow in accordance with the teachings of the Venerable Bede, writing his Anglo-Saxon chronicles. He used to knock them out, old Bede. Off we go. Well, we've developed a reputation for big second halves. We're going to need it, dear listeners, aren't we? Any road, here come Norwich before I go too much further down that road. On our left, ball into the middle. That's collected neatly enough by Anthony Patterson. This is Kramer. Ball into space for him. Mihailo Ivanovic to run onto. Linesman's raised the flag. Offside. For a moment we were through there, piercing the back line of their defence, but offside was given. Nice recovery, Millwall. Bannon spreads play very nicely to Sturge on the left. We're coming towards 50 minutes, listeners. He's got Negley overlapping him on the left side. What can Negley do? Lovely little take and turn. Ball into the middle. Ooh, fired across the goal. From left to right, it's been picked up on the right side. Ball back into the middle. The header was wildly askew there. I think that was Mihailo. Better from Millwall, though, listeners. That's much better. We're getting behind the Lions. We know how important this is. 51 minutes. Lions seem so far, touch wood, rabbit's foot in hand, lucky heather, etc. On my possession, to have started a bit better in the second half. The football gods are now laughing, rolling around the floor laughing at my folly for saying that. Taylor finds Kramer, finds Dinor. He's got Aziz with him. There's Kramer and Dinor now on the right side. Beautiful ball. Oh, it's going in there! Own goal! Ivanovic is claiming it. I don't know if Coburn's claiming. Ivanovic claims it. I thought it came off the Norwich defender. I don't give a shit, listeners. 1-0 Millwall. Wow. 55 minutes. Ball in from the right side. Beautiful pass to find Dinor. Ball into the middle. I thought it came off the defender. I'll have to see it again. You'll know more by the time you get to hear this podcast. Lions lead it. Wonder what a big goal that could prove to be. And maybe Ivanovic has certainly claimed it. I'm too far away to really give you a definitive view. Let's have a look on the big screen. Yeah, Ivanovic, he's got it. 1-0 Millwall. that sounds like a weight has been lifted off the collective shoulders of the Den, dear listeners. I've find myself standing an inch taller. The ball down the left side, 37. Inside the Mill penalty area on the left side. Ball back. Oh, what a goal. Equalising goal from the edge of the penalty area, one each. Fired in with power. Bloody hell. Well, that's knocked us back. 62 minutes. Nicely worked goal. Ball in from the left side, back to the edge of the penalty area on the inside the D, and fired in with some power, listeners. Oof. 63 minutes. Well, the equaliser has rather stunned the Den, listeners, in truth. We've got to find some more wind in our sails, though. On a day where we've been looking tired, to get ahead and not hold that lead, I think is... let's hope we don't come back to haunt us. We've just not clicked all afternoon, in truth. We looked a bit better at the start of the second half, but at the moment we're finding it very hard to put two passes together. Well, 20 minutes to go. What's been a fairly disappointing game so far from the Millwall viewpoint. Norwich players take the bump on the head. In the words of football cliche, we haven't really carried much of a threat in this game. A little bit more in the second half with the two-man forward line, but still not exactly guns a-blazing, listeners. That's going to be cleared by Norwich, unfortunately. They bring away looking for a break. This is a danger chance here. Going down the middle. What can he do? Ball in the box. The 29's got 3 on goal. It's 2-1. 29. Oh. Disaster. That's another game like the Blackburn where we've got ahead and then managed to let it trickle through our fingers like sand. This is Kramer, ball into the middle. That's going to go for a corner. Right side corner. 76 minutes. Going to be Barry Bannon to take. In it comes from Bannon. Deep one. It's across the... Oh! No penalty given. It was fired back in there. Fired back into a sea of arms and legs, but nothing given by the referee. I don't think he's forgiving us much this afternoon, listeners. Ball forwards for the 37. He's caused us a lot of trouble with his pace. Dangerous looking player, to be honest with you, the 37. Well, it's scored out for a right side corner by Jake. We are on 83 minutes. Time ticking away from us, unfortunately, listeners. Nothing has gone for us all afternoon. That's looked like a Millwall throw again, given the other way to Norwich. No change out of the referee, but in truth, we've been second best to Norwich this afternoon. We've looked a lot tired and leggy, and they've just been quicker, especially in this second half. They've broken well. Great equalising goal, great finish. And nice break for the second one, the one that looks like it's going to be the winner at the moment. Anyway, we can't seem to get the ball forwards. And we certainly haven't achieved much in the way of pattern or shape or any kind of coherence all afternoon. Disappointing game. There it is, there's the final whistle. Very, very disappointing afternoon in truth. Finishes Millwall 1, Norwich City 2. Lions having led again. What can I say? We never switched on. Norwich by far the better team overall, and we deserve to go down there 2-1. Very disappointing, listeners. Stay tuned.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back, dear listeners. I'm joined now by Millwall voice, noted author of a book called After the Lord Mayor's Show. It's Merv Payne. Merv, that was after the Lord Mayor's Show yesterday, wasn't it? After Friday's heroics.
Yeah, and as we said before we came on air, it was sadly sort of predictable as well in a way. I don't know if that's a slightly embarrassing admission, this, but I don't know if I reckon a lot of Millwall supporters are the same, but I still, as I did when I was a kid, when you woke up on that Saturday morning, the first thing on your mind was the Millwall game of the day, or if it's a midweek even. Right. And I still do that now. I know it's a bit of a sad admission, but I don't care. I think a lot of fans would admit to it. And I woke up Friday morning, start of a nice long weekend, and the first thing on my mind was obviously the Borough away game because it was an early kick-off and it was
Yeah.
on telly, and I couldn't shake from my brain the thought that we would beat Middlesbrough and then lose to Norwich on Monday. I just couldn't shake that, and I was exchanging a few WhatsApp messages with a good friend of mine who I used to
Yeah.
stand at the old Den when I was a kid. We sort of exchanged messages on how we thought the day was going to go, and he said, "Oh, a draw would be a great result," and I said, "You know what?" I said, "We're going to beat Borough and lose to Norwich." And he was straight
So
on to me
it's
yesterday,
proved to
accusing me
be.
of jinxing it or some sort of dark arts, but no, I mean it was the most Mill thing possible, really, wasn't it? And there was a strange inevitability about it right from the
Yeah.
kickoff. We looked jaded, is the word, isn't it? And
Yeah, tired, shattered. To
yeah,
choose your description, listeners. I thought we just
yeah,
looked well off it. We never really got going, Merv, in the
yeah.
whole
It's a
game,
real
did we?
shame. Yeah, no, and
Um,
it's just yeah. I mean, I brought this up on X yesterday, and a few people sort of challenged you on it, but I just said it's frustrating that we've been so relatively poor at home this season.
yeah,
Um, Someone I think said that, well, actually, at the moment, our home record is actually still better than last year, but obviously we've got 2 more games to go. And they said it's not as bad as 22, 23, and obviously 22, 23 was when I think,
well,
well, I think
we got closest the last
the
time, didn't
famous
we?
Blackburn game, yeah. And again,
That's
but
right.
then you could point then to our home form. We lost, really, we had some similar sort of disappointing home defeats against the likes of Birmingham and stuff like that. Teams that you probably, who weren't any sort of real threat, it seemed, and yet still seemed to come and take 3 points off us, and that ultimately cost us a playoff place. And I don't want to sound too over dramatic, but our home form has cost us a shot at the top 2, I think, this season. But that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you can't hide from these. Can't hide from these uncomfortable truths, listeners. Yesterday's was a kind of a mirror image of the Blackburn game where we go ahead and then manage to that was different, obviously, of the sending off there, but to get ahead. I think Alex Neil said this in his post-match press conferences that generally speaking, that's where we're pretty good. Once we
Yeah,
played badly but got in
yeah.
front, that
This is
should be
what's
meat and
yeah.
drink for us. But
This is what
I'm
yeah, another level of frustration for me. It's not losing. Teams don't go unbeaten at home all season anymore. It's not as football's changed
well,
a
it's
lot
not that
since.
easy.
No, football's changed a lot
I've,
since the days when you'd hardly lose at home. You'd go unbeaten at home for a season because football is just a different game now. But to be leading with say half
yeah,
an hour left of the game at home in 2 consecutive games, and to end up with nothing it's a real gut punch, to be honest. But you could see it again. You could see it coming, even when
yeah.
and then there was a strange feeling of deja vu, or a strange feeling of, well, we should kick on now. That should be our. We've survived another poor first half. We've got the lead, and that should be it now. 3 points. But you could just sense
I'm going to throw
coming back into it.
throw a suggestion out there, and listeners do comment on on the YouTube and Spotify. No Billy Mitchell
Yes,
yesterday,
I've written
Merv,
that down.
and
Yeah, big,
there was a lack of energy and spark across the whole game. I thought the
yeah.
first half we actually dodged a couple of bullets.
Oh God, yeah, yeah,
I've also want to say at this point, so I don't forget it. I thought Norwich played well. They got in
yeah.
behind our back line.
They
They
are,
could
yeah, they
see
are
that
the
we were
form team. Yeah,
slow.
they're the only team.
Yeah, and they got round the back of us
As
a lot
as
across the whole game.
the commentary team seemed to enjoy reminding us several times in the first half. It was a clash of the 2 form teams of 2026. I think Norwich have got 34 points since
Yeah,
in this calendar year. Millwall got 33, and they are a good side who've obviously got a new manager in. They had a horrendous start to the season. I think they lost their first 7 home games, one of which obviously was to us.
yeah.
I'm sure it was 7 on the bounce, and obviously people are saying now if they'd not been for that start, it'd be them that'd be up there challenging the top 2.
Competing.
Um,
I can believe. I thought they were pretty good yesterday. In truth, don't give me any pleasure to say it, but
no,
I
no, they
thought they
were.
played
They
well.
attacked with pace and in numbers, and Yeah, they looked really.
But equally, we didn't really get at them. And I can only think of one chance. I think there was a header wide by Kramer from a right-sided cross in the first half. And the extended highlights, Merv, I mean, it's getting a bit desperate when you show like a flick header that goes higher than the bar.
Exactly.
That's a highlight, which otherwise you wouldn't take no notice of. But that was that for the first half, and they had chances. They a couple of moments. They had a couple of shots
Well,
that
yeah,
were
I think if a certain annoying red-headed
inches away.
American striker had been playing for them, I think you'd have had a field day, to be honest. If Sargent had been,
Yeah, he's playing in Toronto now, isn't he? Sargent.
Yeah, in the first half, it was only because of their, say, very similar story to the Middlesbrough game, really. You know, the Middlesbrough was an onslaught. I think Middlesbrough had 11 corners and missed some chances.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, if they had more quality up front, it'd be a lot more than 1-0. But
someone made the point on one of the voicemails, Merv, that we can't keep playing first halves not very well and keep expecting heroics like we saw at Middlesbrough. The sapping of Middlesbrough, I think, played a big part yesterday in the lack of energy. But you can't keep doing that, can you?
No,
can't keep
I actually made a joke.
Cocking up the first half, you know.
Yeah, I made a joke at half time against Middlesbrough that this whole rope-a-dope thing was like playing havoc with my blood pressure. But the commentator on Sky yesterday actually said, is Alex Neil employing rope-a-dope tactics up? Because I noticed Middlesbrough were visibly tired in the second half. They had two really good midfielders who were causing us problems. One of them had been on international duty for Australia, the other one for the US. And they both suddenly looked knackered in the second half, and we capitalised on that. And I think that's probably what's happened to us yesterday. And we saw the story, didn't we, about Jimmy Berylson flying the team back from Borough so they didn't have to endure a 7-hour
recovery
to get them. Obviously, Alex Neil mentioned as well in some of his interviews that the team were tired and jaded. And sometimes some fans get annoyed at that and say, oh, it's ridiculous, why weren't Norwich tired? But I think, say, the efforts they put in at Borough clearly did sap them. And whilst we've got,
it saps you physically, but it saps you mentally, which is a thing you can't see and touch.
Yeah, it's mentally tiring watching it.
I felt shattered. I think I spent Saturday kind of vaguely staring into space, so there is that aspect of it, and there is the pressure of being in the second position and the pressure of being at home. All of which you've got to learn to contend with if you want to play in the big time. That's part and parcel of it. But we are a club and a collection of players that, largely speaking, haven't played in those kinds of situations. Maybe Bannon has, but I can't think of anyone else that's played at that kind of level of football. And they've got to get used to it. I think there's a learning curve to take place. Second half, we got ahead. Nice goal, I thought. Goal. Well worked goal.
Yeah.
From Ivanovic. I thought it might have been an own goal, but it was Ivanovic with a header.
A bit of a bundle, wasn't it? But yeah.
But it was a nice passing movement on the right between Casper. Was it Negley that put the cross in?
Yes.
Aziz put the cross in. I thought well finished.
I thought Denori crossed it, didn't he? I think because what I noticed.
Denori crossed it.
What I noticed. What's happening is teams are realising that if they keep Kramer and Aziz got a fair bit of stick after yesterday, saying that they were poor. I don't think it's a matter of them being poor. I think it's a matter of teams have identified them as our main threat. And
that's the threat. That's right.
And they're shutting them out of the game. And I know Kramer looked frustrated yesterday. And I think also it underlines, again, this is something a few people mentioned about our January transfer window business. Tommy Watson, it just hasn't worked out, sadly, for whatever reason.
No,
I think
it hasn't.
I think Alex Neil recognised that Aziz and the Aziz Kramer partnership is quite well known now, and is where we get most of our joy from, most of our goal scoring opportunities. And we perhaps needed an alternative if they sort of shut Aziz out, we'd have something else. With Tommy Watson on the left, and it just hasn't, for whatever reason, hasn't worked. And so we're relying so heavily on Aziz and Kramer on the right. Teams just sort of shut them out, and suddenly we don't create anything. And
no, we had nothing. I mean, the Watson signing. I mean, the loan market is always a bit of a gamble, and it hasn't worked. I don't think it's worked. Well, that said, we're talking like the season is finished. There are still
5
games to be played. I mean, obviously we've tumbled from second into the 4th position. We are 9 points clear in the playoff zone. So that's not exactly tumbling, is it? I
No,
think there's a
no.
certain perspective that I think the problem with achieving high levels like second is that you start to expect it, and that's your enemy at Millwall, isn't it? Expecting success,
Yeah, I mean, after we lost to Pompey, I said, right, well, there's no chance of getting top two, and people were saying, well, of course there is. We've got 13 games left, and I still thought
yeah,
13 games. Yeah, it's a lot of games, but I still think going to need a lot of points to finish second, and that would have meant winning sort of 10 of those last 13. And yet suddenly we were like on the cusp of that. If we'd won yesterday,
yeah.
suddenly you're thinking, well,
Well, things
we
could
can
still
get 90
turn.
points.
I mean, Ipswich are in the driving
Oh,
seat
definitely.
for second position. They'll be very disappointed, devastated not to achieve automatic promotion from here. In my
Totally in
opinion,
their hands.
but
Yeah.
it is. They've got 7 games to go. We've got 5 games to go. So we've got to get realistic. But all you can do is, we've got to go to West Bromwich Albion on Friday night and try again. That's all you can do. You've got to try and get a result there. Let's see how it works out. I mean, I think the thing is, and I was reading online about people getting frustrated and expecting wins at the Den. I think that this will be another sellout crowd. This will be a thing where you've got like a new wave of people that wouldn't normally go down Millwall, Merv.
Yeah.
Suddenly rediscovering they're in a Millwall fan again after all these years, and they go expecting. They expect success, and that's never been what our club has been about, has it?
No. And I see a lot of comments saying we've had 14 sellouts, and a lot of them have been quite flat atmosphere-wise. But
It's always been so.
yeah, I mean,
Many the sellout that hasn't really taken off,
yeah. But I just think what's frustrating is, and again, it boils down to the squad running out of steam, perhaps. But what we really needed was a Birmingham-style performance where we came out and we were so up for it. It was unbelievable. And they look like,
Yeah.
they look like a pack of hungry dogs. They were just, but you can't, people scoff, but you just can't put that
You won't get it every time.
when you're
No,
playing 2 games.
no.
Even though they had a 2-week break, that was, you think that would be enough. But even though we've got probably the biggest and best quality squad we've had in a long time, it still isn't big enough to sort of play at the sort of that really high tempo week in, week out when you've got games thick and fast.
Let's mention the 2 Norwich goals. I mean, the first goal was a beautiful strike. I mean, if it had been a Millwall player that had done that, we'd be raving about it as goal of the season. It was a beautiful. The 37, I don't know what the boy's name is, but he looked a dangerous customer down our left side. He's right in front of where I sit. And he got down behind the defensive line, pulled the ball back, and it was blasted in from the edge of the penalty area by Mattison, I think the guy's name is.
Yeah.
Beautiful strike. Not much I think anyone could have done about that one.
No,
Merv. I mean, maybe defending was a bit loose.
The disappointing thing for me is when the guy got to the position where he was about looking up to see who was there waiting for it. There was 5 yellow shirts in and around our penalty area, and none of them had.
Shall we mention tiredness again? Mental tiredness again, Merv, not being switched on.
Had a Millwall defender or Millwall
No.
anywhere near them. And obviously the second goal was more of a breakaway. But
that was the same because he seemed to have the freedom of Lewisham Borough to run through, didn't he? No one challenging.
Queuing up to score. There was 2 of them waiting, virtually on the edge of the 6-yard box. And what's also annoying is that came from our throwing, and it's we saw time and time again Zach Sturridge attempting this long throw and not making it.
Yeah, that's a tactic I don't understand. 'Cause it isn't a long throw.
No.
At best, it's a near side penalty area. I mean, near the kind of 6-yard box, not even that far. Where someone like Taylor or Jake Taylor normally tries to get a flick header on Kramer, perhaps.
We're not even winning them. It happened.
It's a funny old tactic.
Yeah, it happened at Ipswich. And in the build up to just before their goal, we had 3 throw-ins in a similar position. Every single one went to an Ipswich player, and it was from the third one they ended up breaking away and scoring. And we saw yesterday, it's kamikaze football in many ways.
I haven't got the stats. I wonder how many goals we've generated through our so-called long this season. Can't be many. I can't think of many off the top of my head.
I mean, the only person...
everyone does it now. It used to be a real novelty back in the 70s, Merv. I can remember Chelsea had a player called Ian Hutchinson, kids, and he had a long throw, and one or two others around that could chuck the ball in from the touchline, and it would go into the
Almost like
the
a corner,
danger zone
wasn't
of
it?
the penalty area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a Stoke player. Oh God, what was his name? He could throw it in hard and fast, and it was like a flighted,
God,
almost
yeah.
a cross.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will remember.
And I
Yeah.
can't think of his name.
That name.
Someone he played for Stoke, and that became their tactic. Merv.
Yeah.
The thing now, everyone's doing it,
Yeah.
and it once was quite an exotic, unusual thing. If you had it, you look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
But now everyone does it, and it doesn't seem to have any kind of impact. I don't, certainly at Millwall it doesn't
Yeah.
anyway.
Was it who was it the
So I don't know.
Tranmere player as well? Was it Challoner at Tranmere? Was it? I can't remember, was it Challoner at Tranmere in the
Challoner could do
90s?
it.
Rings a bell, I think.
The,
Yeah, and it was almost like a corner.
the Stoke player will come to me as soon as I switch off the recording, and
Delap, was it?
obviously we've got our own Delap.
Was it Delap? Yeah.
We've got our own dear Adrian Seriou, who surprised the world, and the throw-in that shook the world from inside the Millwall half.
Yeah.
That was about his one and only one-hit wonder, wasn't it? It was the
Yeah.
like the old top 10 used to have one-hit wonders, listeners. But it's not a tactic that seems to produce much for us anyway. That's for sure. Yesterday's loss wasn't down to that, but it does seem a bit of a waste. We weren't very good with dead balls yesterday. We seemed to do nothing with it.
No, yeah, I do think
the whole thing was a bit disjointed, wasn't it? It was a very strange bad day at the office.
They're poor, aren't they? They seem to be, but yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like I say, you can't. I'm not going to criticise Alex Neil because he's been absolutely brilliant, and it's just one of them where I do agree that they are sort of running out. It's not so much physically tired, but they probably are mentally sort of tired, perhaps. But it sounds like a cop out or an excuse.
yeah.
But
I mean,
that was
maybe
evident yesterday, wasn't it? You couldn't accuse them of not wanting
absolutely.
it, but just not physically able to.
Alex Neil, after Middlesbrough, said they'll leave everything on the pitch. They certainly did at
Yeah.
Borough. I don't think they had much to leave on the pitch yesterday. In truth, from kickoff, we looked tired and second best. That's in the past. We've got to go to West Brom. We're probably more now. The season is going to become more about securing once and for all our playoff spot. We shouldn't lose it with 5 games to go. Shouldn't touch wood. I've got my gypsy bought rabbit's foot here, and lucky heather sprig. We shouldn't let it go from here, Merv. It's probably going to be more about planning for playoff football post-season, really.
That's my next point. Yeah,
subject to terms and conditions, other results. And so on.
Alex Neil is, as the commentary team pointed out, yes, Alex Neil is something of a veteran of the playoffs. I think he's won promotion three different teams via the playoffs.
Yeah,
once north of the border with Hamilton, and he did it with Norwich, he did it with Sunderland, and I can imagine he's now thinking he's not obviously not going to give up on. It'll be daft to sort of totally discount the second place.
1 or 2 games more, he's going to be into the zone of thinking that post-season.
Points with the second place team with 5 games to go. Of course, it's still possible. And as people said quite rightly, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns between now and the end of the season. I think going into yesterday, I think the most points Millwall could get winning all their games was 90. And I think Ipswich could end up with 93 or 94, and Middlesbrough could end up with 89 if they won all their games. But obviously, that's not going to happen. All 3 teams aren't going to win all their games. So that, by that very nature, means there's going to be twists and turns. I mean, Birmingham took the lead at Ipswich yesterday, and for a few little minutes, we thought, God, maybe
God was smiling upon us. That's right.
Borough, I mean, Borough's form is probably recent form is easily the worst of the 3, and I've seen their fans on social media have given up, completely given up on second place.
Yeah, I know they've gone from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, Ipswich have got a couple of tricky games. They've got to play Middlesbrough at home. They've got to play Norwich.
They've got to play Borough, and they've got to play Norwich.
Norwich away at the weekend.
In the East Anglian derby.
This is it. Norwich, the way the form Norwich are in, they'll probably even fancy a sniff a late run at the playoffs as we sort of did last season.
Norwich are on, after yesterday, on 58 points. They're now in 9th. 58 points, and Wrexham's 6th spot, which would be their target, is at 64. So 6 points. But there's teams between them.
Wrexham play Southampton tonight, don't they? Wrexham play Southampton tonight.
They do.
There'll be a lot of jostling. But Norwich will obviously they'll love to sort of put the boot in Ipswich's chances, even though they helped them yesterday by beating us. But yeah, there are lots of twists and turns. But I do think maybe secretly Alex Neil was thinking, right, let's prepare for the playoffs now. Let's make sure we're ready, because it's that all important M word, isn't it? Momentum going into that's what they talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want something to take into it.
We've got a couple of playoff campaigns off the back of, I think in the Mick McCarthy days, I think we went into a playoff campaign on the back of like a worst little run of the season, ironically, and we carried that into everything. So yeah, I think that will be at the back of his mind. He'll be thinking, right, well, let's just how am I going to prepare them for the playoffs? Because the concerning thing is, again, you know, we're great away from home this season, but the home form could come back to bite us on the.
Yeah, it's not so great.
Yeah, if we finish third, it's at home second game, isn't it? If we finish third or fourth. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that could be really. We see the jitters. If we're gonna fix this home, this frustrating home form, then that's probably the time to do it.
Absolutely. There we go, listeners. Big thank you to Merv. After the Lord Mayor's show, it's not still available, I think.
It is.
Book, but I'm going to nick his title. That was very much yesterday's game. Onwards to West Brom Friday night. Fingers crossed. Big thank you, Merv, for joining me.
Cheers, Nick.
And thank you to you too, dear listeners, for tuning in. I'm going to do a separate show with the voicemails, but from myself and Merv, it's Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
When I was a little boy, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be arson?
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Achtung Millwall. All profits from our show benefit the fabulous Lions Food Hubs, helping families in the SE16 area. Until the next show then, it's Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Who do you want to watch?
Cold blow lane, there's a burned out car over the blocked up drain. Some days always feel the same. Some days always feel the same. Na 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 na. There's graffiti on the brick wall telling of glory days. Harris at Wembley, the feeling still stays. Some days always feel the same. Some days always feel the same. Na 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 It's a lifetime habit, I just won't change. 50 years of going on.